breaking news here on the Alabama Football Report. I am Tom Downey, at home edition. We're not in the office today, but important news we needed to get to for the Crimson Tide, or at least reported news we have to get to. So John Talty, the 24/7 sports writer for Alabama, wrote this not that long ago, maybe an hour ago, that the growing expectation is that Tyler Buchner will get the start over Jalen Milroe this week against South Florida. So a quarterback change set to go on here for the Crimson Tide as they get ready for their third game of this college football season. Allegedly, again, all per John Talty, Buchner has gotten more reps with the first team this week and has shown enough that he's going to get the first snaps against South Florida. That does not necessarily preclude some reps still for Jalen Milroe, or maybe even the long shot option of seeing Ty Simpson out there. But again, it sounds like it's going to be Tyler Buchner's turn, the Notre Dame transfer, as the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. A lot we're going to get into on this short but sweet but important at-home video. So apologies for no graphics, but it's Fridays. I'm in charge of taking care of my 2-year-old, so we're doing a quickie here while she's upstairs watching Frozen. Give me your one-word reaction to the news that Tyler Buchner is going to start, allegedly still. We'll know for certain, when the game gets started or if Bama announces it. One-word reaction to Buchner getting the start at quarterback. Go vote for me, or reply, I should say, at the pinned comment of today's show. If that ad does come here on YouTube, that is fine. Take advantage of the ad, go down there, and let me know. We have not seen very much of Buchner this year for Alabama, who, of course, by the way, came over from Notre Dame. He transferred after the spring practice for the Fighting Irish because he was never going to beat out Sam Hartman. I guess I'll give him credit for sticking around, but he wasn't going to win that job. Rejoins Tommy Rees, the play caller for the Crimson Tide. Buchner played very briefly in the season opener in which Jalen Milroe looked really good. Buchner 3 of 5 through the air, 27 yards, also had a 9-yard rushing touchdown. Buchner does offer, maybe not to the same extent, but mobility, much like Milroe. I would like to see more of that mobility utilized. I think that's been a bad job by the Crimson Tide coaching staff to not find a way to maximize him, or Milroe, I should say, the quarterback's legs in this newish offense there. Now, Buchner was up and down at best at Notre Dame for his career, 56.8%. It's not very good. It's a little bit worse than what Milroe's been this year, which we'll come back to. 949 yards in a handful of starts, 8 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions through the air. It's not a very good ratio. Did contribute over 450 yards on the ground with 7 touchdowns. Seems like it's going to be Buchner's shot. I think he can do some more middle of the field things that maybe Milroe wasn't having great success with and Bama wasn't comfortable with, etc. Is starting Buchner the right move? Y for yes, N for no. Go vote for me in the comment section. I'm not opposed to making the move. Nick Saban's made some comments that kind of implied they were considering the move, and he straight up said they were considering it against Texas. I thought we would see Tyler Buchner. We discussed this on yesterday's show of, give Buchner some run if Milroe's starting, run up the score if you need to. You got to figure out what you have in these guys. Milroe did not play well against Texas. His numbers for the year look fine. 60%, 449 yards, 10 yards per attempt, by the way. 5 TDs, 2 interceptions, but it was a great game against a bad opponent and a mediocre at best game against a great opponent. That's not going to work when you get to the meat of the SEC schedule. So I am not upset they're making the move to Tyler Buchner. I would have been fine if they tried it at Texas, against Texas. If in that third quarter-ish, somewhere in that range, you said, okay, Buchner, get in there, give us some drives, see what you can do. And you're making the move now. That's probably an easier transition on Buchner, who maybe just wasn't quite ready to go. Again, the report from 24/7 Sports is that Buchner did get more reps with the first team this week, looked good enough in the practices that he will get the first shot to take over the snaps against South Florida. I don't know what that means for Milroe. I don't. I don't know if that means he's going to play, if he's just going to be if he's going to be on the bench, if it'll be some garbage time reps for him, if they'll do what some teams do of 2 or 3 drives for the starter, then the second string guy comes in. For example, you saw that against for Ohio State. It was Kyle McCord for first 2-3 drives, and there was the drive or two for Devin Brown, then back to McCord. Maybe something similar happens there. Maybe it's not even with Milroe. Maybe it's with a Ty Simpson. Simpson barely played in the season opener. I know there were people who really liked what Simpson could become, what he could be. I am unconvinced he is ready. We have not really seen much of him. I think that is gotta trust the coaching staff that Simpson's not the guy, or at least isn't ready to be the guy. There's been some semblance of buzz on Dylan Lonergan of how, he's the best quarterback. I'm like, okay, we'll see about that. You have to always caution yourself against falling in love with the next guy, The next guy is going to be the great player, and then the next guy never comes because it's always looking off into the future. Maybe it could be Dylan Lonergan down the road. I'm excited about Julian Sayin. It's college football. You kind of have that a bit more frequently than you do in the NFL, but I don't know what the game plan is going to be at quarterback. All of a sudden, what was going to be probably still will be a blowout game. South Florida's not very good. It's a bit more intriguing now with the quarterback uncertainty. So how many quarterbacks play against South Florida? Is it 1, just Tyler Buchner, allegedly? Is it 2? Is it 3? Do you get 4 games with Dylan Lonergan? Could you throw him in there for a series? I think that's probably very unlikely. But get those predictions in. How many quarterbacks play against South Florida? We'll see what happens in this one. Buchner has some talent. He was a pretty highly touted recruit. There's some funny stories of how Notre Dame wanted Buchner. They got him, and Michigan wanted Buchner. They didn't get him. They ended up going to J.J. McCarthy. That's worked out wonderfully for the Wolverines. Now we'll see how it fares for Alabama. There is that relationship there between Buchner and between Tommy Rees. How that all organizes remains to be seen. What the offense looks like. I did not think Alabama was doing a good enough job of maximizing the offense for Jalen Milroe. Got to let him use his legs. You have to let Buchner use his legs as well. Otherwise, I think you're missing out on opportunities to make the best version of this Bama offense. Bryce Young's not coming back. He ain't on this football team right now. Tua ain't on this football team. Mac Jones ain't on this football team. You've got to be able to utilize your quarterback's legs. You have to be able to run the football better. Your offensive line looked bad against Texas. Nick Saban had a very funny comment when with radio show when someone had come in. He was not playing. The O-line was not doing well enough against normal rushes. They have to be better this week if Alabama's going to have more confidence moving forward into the meat of the SEC schedule. So what is your confidence level in Alabama football? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comment section right now.